Hey everyone, it is Heather Hurt with the NRW, and I am so excited I can finally talk to you about Moon Knight. I saw the first 4 episodes already, and don't worry, just to say this, there will be no spoilers in this conversation. This is going to be primarily a conversation, less a review, and primarily a conversation about Moon Knight. You deserve to enjoy and be excited about the characters just as much as me or anyone else who has seen the show already. So there will not be any spoilers. Anything that is referenced today will either be from the comics, specifically about the character, or if it is in relation to the show, it'll be something that you've already seen or experienced primarily through a trailer or any images. So there will be no spoilers here, I promise. Enjoy the show, enjoy it. The primary reason I wanted to talk to you though is because of the character themselves, in reality. Moon Knight is a kind of a niche character, which is really cool for Marvel to do, but he has very devout fans, but even amongst the comics community, he's actually kind of an unknown character. So I love him. He's one of my favorite characters. I love Marc Spector with all my heart and soul. Basically, I'm a huge noir fan. Like, I love any noir detective. My favorite Spider-Man is Spider Noir. I love Batman. If you follow me on any social media, it's basically Batman and Moon Knight. That's basically all it is. I am not going to talk about the comparison between the two. I've already done that in another video with the NRW, with Kuyopi, our master and overlord of the NRW. I am wearing the same Moon Knight and Batman shirt. Don't worry, I washed it. But I will not be talking about the comparison between the two, don't worry. Go watch the other video for that. But I love Moon Knight. But the thing is that one thing that I noticed is that when it comes to the review, my honest review about Moon Knight is that my experience was very different than Kuyopi's. So one thing I did very on purpose, basically for the show, for me to enjoy Moon Knight, for anything about Moon Knight, it would need to be a guy in a moon themed suit, under the guidance of the moon god Khonshu, and honest and real Egyptian iconography, and it would need to be about DID and a sensitive, that's dissociative identity disorder for those of you who have not heard about it, but it would need to talk about DID and mental health awareness in a very honest and sensitive way. And I would have loved it. Like, literally, it could have been like the worst show in the world, and as long as it had those basic pieces, I would have been in heaven, cloud 9 easy. So what I did is I actually had my husband watch it with me, because I wanted to know his opinion. And in reality, him and Kuyopi had a very similar experience. They loved it, but there were lots of questions, whereas I was just in love. So what I came out, and then seeing all of the questions that came up today on social media, I realized that I needed to have a conversation with, it doesn't have to be me, you can go to your regular retailer too, any of them that knows Moon Knight, but we needed to have a real conversation about the character to understand the show. Because I got the same questions from both people. They both loved it once again, but it was just like, I got a lot of, but what about, and I didn't understand that part, and can you explain to me that reference kind of questions? And so in reality, no matter how good the show is, this is one of those series that you might want to learn more about the character as a whole, either going into or while you're watching the show. It'll definitely make things easier. So with that, I want to give you a small history, a quick book history, so that you can reference back to things. And it's going to be very quick. I promise. We're going to do this nice and sweet. So to begin with, 1975. This is Werewolf by Night number 32. For all of you who are upset that I have not got the slab yet, please know that will be coming soon. Don't worry. This is the first part of the Stalker called Moon Knight. It is a 2-part series from Doug Moench and Don Perlin. This is his first appearance. This one right here. So it's he is a mercenary. So just so you know, you will hear the multiple terms: detective, mercenary, fist of Khonshu, vigilante. In the show, he is more of a you get a couple of those terms. Mercenary is thrown around. He is not so much a mercenary anymore. He is more of a vigilante, like in the comics. But don't think all of those words can be, he's actually that and so much more. And I'm not just even talking about just Marc Spector. It's him and his alters. There's everything in the bucket. So don't think that it's wrong, even if a specific word is out there, because in this version he is a mercenary. In more common current storylines, he's a vigilante. So like it's okay. He's all of them. This is as a reference. You do not need to read his original stories. We'll get to what the more honest and relatable books are when it comes to the series in a little bit. But this is his first appearance. In it, he is going after Jack Russell. Get it, Jack Russell. He's a werewolf. He's a lycanthrope. Get it. But in it, he's supposed to be killing. He's supposed to go after and kill Jack Russell, but you know, he's supposed to be a good guy overall. So he has things change, and he does pick the correct side. So this is his origin. But where you really see, that is his original first appearance. This is where you're truly going to get his origin. This is Moon Knight Volume 1, Number 1 from Doug Moench again. And when you see Moon Knight art online, which you'll see a lot is the Bill Sienkiewicz art. This book, and you'll see this cover a whole lot. This series, number 1 through 5 of this series, is really his true origin. This is where we begin to see, as you can see on the bottom here, these are his alters. This is kind of where you get that first relationship to the Bruce Wayne connection. It's, you know, you got the Playboy alter ego, and you got his main character. This is where we see we learn about Khonshu and all that stuff. Khonshu is actually probably the most relatable character to the comics. Like, he's the most direct right out of the books. And it's just, it's great. I love, you know, it's also an Egyptian god. How, if you don't love him, things can happen. But this is where we see it. This is where where mental health is coming, where the mental health area, like, stuff arises. This is truly one of the great things about Moon Knight, and one of the things one of the reasons I fell in love with the character is I am a DC person more than I'm a Marvel person, but yet Marvel has been always a little bit more willing to talk about mental health and mental illness, and it's through characters like Moon Knight that they're willing to do that. DC has never strayed away from activism or anything. Superman was created by 2 Jewish men, one of which literally helped create and define Superman based off of Jewish immigration to the US. So it's one of those where they've never strayed away from it, but Marvel has truly been great at defining and speaking on mental health and mental illness. And that's why I'm so excited about having Moon Knight in the MCU, because this is really with him on Disney, even if he isn't necessarily, even though the show isn't necessarily child appropriate. And to tag in real quick, basically it's, if you're wondering about the child angle, the show is pretty bloody. It's not really bloody, but it is a lot of fighting. It is a lot of fist fighting. There's some mild cursing. Some of the concepts are a little bit older, so whether your child will like it will depend on how they go after the books. I would not suggest Moon Knight comics for kids in any way, shape, or form. It is a great conversation starter, but it's not. But the concepts behind the character are a little bit mature, and it's kind of the same with the show. I don't know if it really depends on how your kids do it. You do you. I will never tell a parent how to parent their children. But I'm really excited because technically, other than like some really crappy versions of DID that are always villainized, this is the first true time we get to see DID in an honest and sensitive way, and it's really, really great. So going back to the show though, this version of the character of Moon Knight, of the superhero of Moon Knight, this is more the kind of version that you're going to see in the show in relation to the books that are more related to the series. This, of course, I'm sorry, I did not explain this. This is the first issue 1 through 5 of the Macabre Moon Knight, his origin from 1980. It's 1 through 5. This is a little bit later. So you can see that's number 25 from 82. But it's same run. It's just just a different going forward. But now let's move into the conversation. What you're going to see a lot of is the more current books. So I'm sorry, guys, I am a variant fanatic. This is the Scotty Young cover for the series that one of the two series that are most notably recognized for the origin of the show. This is Ellis and with artist Declan Shalvey. If you don't know why I'm reading the name, please Google it. It's very simple. But this is Volume 7, number 1 through 6. That's what they wrote in 2014. This is where kind of that reboot where we see Moon Knight in a more modern, more honest, more vocal version of himself from a mental health perspective. There's a little less superpower and a little bit more detective. There's a little bit more vigilante. Of course, this is also the series where Mr. Knight, who is that really cool guy with the rolled up sleeves and the nice suit, is from. Subscribe to our channel so I can talk more about Mr. Knight later. There's a lot of stuff that would be spoiler, and once again, this is not a spoiler. We'll talk about it later. But this is where that all begins. This is right here. So it's really exciting. This is kind of the series that begins it all. That does continue into issue 7 through 12 from Brian Wood and Greg Smallwood. They do complete that volume of the series. I don't have that. I'm not going to pull out all of my Moon Knight comics. You would get bored. But this is kind of where we get started. So as you can see, this is Moon Knight number 1 from volume 8 from Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood. Yes, that is. Yeah, as you can tell, I can do green screen so well. That is Jeff Lemire's signature. I am a huge Jeff Lemire fan. I actually have many things signed by him. This is one of my favorites that I got signed. I was really scared because when I was supposed to get stuff signed, I couldn't find this cover and I found it super last minute. So I was very excited. So this is the action figure cover from his run. He did 1 through 14 of volume 8 in 2016, excuse me. When it comes to what is directly referenced by the directive and executive producing team, it's this run. It's Lemire and Smallwood's run. It was picked up at Legacy issue number 188 through 200 with Max Bemis and Jason Burrows, with a handful of tag-in guest artists during specified issues for various DID, mostly related reasons. Just as a side to that, a Legacy comic is Marvel decided that they wanted to pick up at the actual numbers where the comics were, so that it was kind of when that Action Comics 1000 issue thing was going on, so that they could monitor where they were in the line. So Legacy 188, that's what, when we got to technically number 15 in this run, it was Legacy number 188, and that's where it picked up. So that was 188 through 200, that was with Max Bemis. And so when you are trying to find books specifically to help you with this series, these are the 2 runs you're going to look for. You are going to look for these 2 runs. They do have volumes. It's just volume 1 for volume 7, volume 1 for Moon Knight with and Declan Shalvey. Or you can get the complete issues. 1 through 14 are available in one big paperback for this series. That's the series that I truly suggest. Declan Shalvey's run is great. Follow him for the art. He actually does the entire, he does the cover art for all 1 through 12 of volume 7. But no matter what, these are the 2 runs you're going to find. These are the 2 runs you're going to use. They're going to be the biggest reference. Please know that he's a little less super and more detective in these, whereas in the show, they kind of go back to his origin where he was a little bit more super. Just gonna say, not gonna say where, when, why, or how. And for all my Mooney friends out there, y'all get this reference. I won't get into it. Read Sailor Moon, guys. Yeah. But I just want to give you a couple more books. I will, once again, I'm going to put my entire thread that I put on Twitter right in the comments, so please check it out. But just real quick to touch on other books that if you are interested, if you want to learn a little bit more, you can definitely pick up some more bloody and dark titles, such as the 2006 run from Charlie Huston and David Finch, Moon Knight: The Bottom. And then, of course, you also have Greg Huritz's and Jerome Opina's 2009 run, Vengeance of the Moon Knight. By the way, that one's going to be kind of hard to find. Depending on what it is in one big volume, you'll probably have to buy a couple volumes. And the same with his West Coast Avenger runs. They are not being reprinted, so it's actually going to be easier to find separated volumes. Once again, I have links to how you can find these books in my Twitter thread. So if you want to know if it's not available in your comic shop, also you can DM me. I'm happy to talk to you about where you can buy books. Happy. I'll give you my handle at the end. And then the final piece, and this series actually gets a load of crap, and it's terrible because I actually really love it. It's not the best Moon Knight series to get by far, but it's that final step we needed to take to get us to the Moon Knight that we don't only see today in comics, but the Moon Knight that we see in the show. So Brian Michael Bendis, if you don't know him, he is a huge name in comics, like a huge name in comics. You can thank him and Sarah Pichelli for Miles Morales. So he's actually had a huge, if you're in comics at all, you've heard of Brian Michael Bendis. Bendis's run with Alex Maleev, volume 6, 1 through 12, in 2011. If you ever ask me the question, who is my favorite Avengers team, I will say Moon Knight. Moon Knight. He's my favorite Avenger, and my favorite Avengers team. Well, no. Namor is my favorite Avenger, but we can get into that later. Fantastic Four's coming, that means Namor is coming. But it's one of those where, with that being said, his run, Bendis's and Maleev's run of Moon Knight is where we truly get the psychosis that Marc Spector is experiencing. And with that, you get Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Captain America, but they're all up here. There's spoilers for the book, but it kind of comes up very upfront. So Moon Knight is my favorite Avengers team because he actually gets to experience it. He understands what's going on too. He does come to terms with it. And that was the last step we needed to get us to the and Declan Shalvey run and the Lemire and Smallwood run. That is what we needed. So if you want to read it, and you're gonna see a lot of people hate on that series. I liked it. I suggest it. I suggest it. So with that in mind, and once again, that brings us full circle back to where we started, his origins, his basics. So that is my review. In so many ways, read the books, understand, learning about the character will definitely help you enjoy the show better. So definitely you'll like it, you'll love it. The music is great, by the way, that's the best part of it. But anyway, so that's my review, that's my time. If you want to read books, please support your local comic shop. Go talk to your retailer. And if you ever have any questions, you're more than welcome to talk to me. By the way, just to tag in real quick, if you don't know who your local retailer is, or if you want to find someone, or you need to find someone, definitely check out the store locator. I'll have a link to it down below as well. That'll help you direct. And once again, I can also help you direct. So you can follow me on Twitter at NerdIsAHeather, or on Instagram and TikTok at HeatherIsANerd. And then you can follow us here. Definitely subscribe to our channel right here, or follow us on Twitter at the NRW or at New Release Wednesday, because we talk about comics every Wednesday, right? So at New Release Wednesday on Instagram. I really look forward to your responses and your reviews. We will be reviewing episode to episode with Kuya P and potentially a couple other members of the team. So look forward to that. I'm very excited to talk to all of you about it. I'm so excited for the show. Once again, tomorrow, Moon Knight arrives on Disney Plus on March 30th. Thank you guys, and you'll have a wonderful day.